You want to know what the dress is for next week, so it needs to arrive in the warehouse. Let me just have a check on that. I'm just going to have a look in the drive. The reality is, I don't actually know where to find this, because it could be in an email, it could be in the drive. And that person needs to know because they've got a photo shoot happening tomorrow and that style needs to be there for that. This is common, not knowing where things are at any point in the process. Where do you go? Imagine if you could go to one place to find all this information. All of your team could go to one place and find all the information on that style, the tech packs, the communication, the timelines, all in one shared space, and find that information instantly. If you are working together with lots of people on something, it's not about having a shared folder or a shared email chain. You've got to support different formats of stuff. You've got to have things where you can dump documents. You've got to have areas where you can communicate. It is actually like a physical room in a page, because you kind of have like, right, this is where you put your files, virtual files. This is where you're going to go and chat, have your breakout room. You actually need to support a load of different methods of communication, a load of different types of documents. You need to have structure and boundaries so that everyone knows where stuff goes. In reality, what does a shared workspace look like for a fashion brand? Well, it looks like a bunch of folders sitting in a drive. It looks like a bunch of files sitting on someone's desktop. It looks like a lot of WhatsApp groups. Scrolling through a WhatsApp group for every order. Ping, ping, ping. Some phone calls. Back to my trusty phone. We've definitely got some physical folders. The amount, I saw a room in a factory where they had over 350 folders, and that blew my mind. Folders? And each page of the folder, they had a tech pack version. My absolute favourite part of the sampling process is this. Sample arrives from the factory, measurements stapled on the sample. What happens is, you have all these samples in front of you, you look at it, all the measurements there, and someone has to go and manually add all that information into that Excel spreadsheet. So I've got a little bullet point list here. New folder in the drive, predefined set of folders inside those folders with folders inside those folders. Everything's looking good, everything's named properly. New email thread, new subject, all the right people CC'd on it. A nice fresh Excel spreadsheet with all the little thumbnails of the collection carefully pasted down the left-hand side. So I'm just going to give a little example of what might happen after 3 months. You go into the drive, whatever drive you set up, you go into the folder and you go, yeah, I'm just going to find that tech pack. I'm going to see what was agreed. I'm going to update that thing. You go in there and you see it hasn't been updated for 2.5 months. So you go, what? This isn't here. You then go to your email. Can't find it there. The reality is everyone gets busier and busier as the collection goes on, and the good intentions and the good practice slips. That email with that important attachment, you may not have had time to drop that into the drive. Forgetting to do that one thing has then impacted someone else who really needs that information, and they can't go and find it. We all need to be on the same page, and I don't mean this page. Where I see the power of WhatsApp and WeChat is that conversational element. Bringing a collection to market in a creative industry involves free conversation, and that should always be there. But really what needs to happen alongside in the same place is also structured modifications of things where, you know, for instance, if you've got a tech pack and you're talking about a style in a WeChat or a WhatsApp group, that tech pack needs to be in there and being updated as you're talking about it. Otherwise, what's happening in there in the WhatsApp chat isn't what's reflected in this really, really important alignment document of a tech pack. And so it's the two need to live together. Just to talk a bit about email, which is the predominant way of communicating in supply chains across your team and across your business. And it's really powerful for creating a bullet-pointed overview of what's going on, for sending that back and forth, and for having a thread of conversation captured under one bucket. However, if anyone in that team who's not part of that thread, or someone else in the organisation or the other factory, somewhere further up the supply chain, needs to know what's going on, they have to either be forwarded on that email thread and make sense of what's going on, or someone has to spend hours scrolling through their email. And this, if you just want to be able to, particularly for owners of businesses or teams where they're not involved in the day-to-day of a delivery of a collection, for them to be able to jump in and know what's going on at any point, that's really challenging in email.